power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
God is my hope. God is my blessing power.
God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
So how we all doing this morning? Good. Good to see you all. We'll just we're going to get underway here, and just know that everybody else is making their way through the fog and the din.
Yeah.
Yes, to join us here this morning. So our presider this morning is Reverend Jeannie Hoffman. Yes, and she'll be checking in with you later on. We have our candles lit for our ofrenda, so we're just going to check in with each other and then get underway.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Join hands, start a love train, people all over the world. Join hands, start a love train. The next time that we may will be England. Tell all the folks in Russia and China too. Don't you know that it's time to get on board and let this train keep on riding on through. Oh,
People all over the world,
everybody
join hands.
Come on, start a love train. People all over the world, everybody join hands. Come on, start a love train. All of you brothers over in Africa, tell all the folks in Egypt and Israel too. Please don't miss this train at the station, 'cause if you miss it, I feel sorry for you. People all over the world, everybody join hands. Come on, start a love train. People all over the world, everybody join hands. Come on, start a love train. Said people all over the world, yeah, join hands. Come on, start a love train. People all over the world, everybody join hands. Come on, start a love train. People all over the world.
Pretty good, huh? That was the band. Let's give them some love. And I'll let Ken introduce the Grenadians later. All right, so as I said, we have Reverend Jeannie on deck. We've lit the candles, and she's going to light the healing candle for us. And we are, let's blow it out so we can officially light it with your special intentions. And we have here the ofrenda. If you're not aware of the ofrenda, comes to us from the Mexican American. Just snuff it out. Comes to us from the Mexican American, or Mexican heritage actually, all the way back to the Aztecs. And Reverend Jeannie's going to be doing a similar observation from the Celtic or Irish perspective, and she'll, I'm sure, be speaking to that later. Yeah, so, but for right now, we're all going to take a deep, conscious breath. Exhale. Allow ourselves to surrender to this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So the first candle, pick one, we have lit for the Tao, which we have lit to honor the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We'd light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. Where was I? Oh, Hinduism. Okay. So the fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. I think I combined two of them there. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the four noble truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle is lit for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. The eighth candle we light for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center. And as Reverend Jeannie lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
So in this sacred, spacious place this morning, I speak of love, I know of love, I feel love in this very room. And I know and declare in the oneness of everyone present that that is really all there is. Divine love, inside, outside, around, above and below. So it is with that knowing that my mind is freed, my heart is opened, and my love is not only fulfilled but given away, bit by bit by bit. In the gratitude that goes hand in hand with love, I give thanks that this is the truth. I give thanks that this is available to everyone here, right now. And with open hearts, open minds, and deep gratitude, we say together, and so it is. Well, good morning, everyone. I usually come to the 9 o'clock service, so I get to see faces this morning that I don't usually get to see. And I want to also wish you an almost Happy New Year. because as of November 1st, which is next Wednesday, that's the Celtic New Year, and we will be celebrating Samhain at that time, celebrating that. Since I usually don't speak at the second service, I want to take this opportunity to thank those of my family all over the country who are watching. My daughter Daphne in Everett, Washington. My 2 daughters in Carson City, Nevada. I have one in Simi Valley. She's close. I'll see her today. My cousin Judy in Orlando, Florida, and my brother in Indiana. So thanks to live streaming, I get to wish Sunday love and blessings to my whole family. So that's a good thing. The talk title today is The Love That Lives Within. And there's no better evidence of this than the altar that's behind us. The altar that pays tribute to those who have passed before us, who continue to love us, whether it is through memory, bequeaths, or a legacy of kindness and goodness. This is the time of year when we leave the harvest of the outside world in its rightful place and return to that inner world that feeds the soul. We're entering the season of dark, waiting for that first glimpse of outer light which appears at Yule, Christmas. There are only 2 seasons in the Celtic tradition, the season of light and the season of dark. This is the new year in Celtic tradition, and it's celebrated on All Hallows Eve, which is Halloween, Tuesday night to be exact. When Irish settlers came to America, they brought Halloween with them. Rituals and ceremonies that originated with the Druids and the Celts. This is the time of the year when the veil is the thinnest between the worlds. One might say the ego is the most vulnerable. For the past 4 years, we've celebrated Samhain at this center as part of our Day of the Dead offering. This year, we're actually able to hold this celebration on the actual day of the new year, which is the 1st, and that's Wednesday. So Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, I personally invite you to come and join us. It's at 7 o'clock. The only thing you have to bring is the love that you feel for those whose physical presence is no longer with us. I assure you that their spirits join us in the most beautiful way. We'll have light refreshments in Sparks Hall when the service ends, and I invite you to stay for that too. I found a wonderful, beautiful quote by Anonymous, that wonderful author, Anonymous, that I think fits with what we do at this time of year here at this center. And it goes like this. Suddenly, all of my ancestors are behind me. Be still, they say. Watch and listen. You are the result of the love of thousands. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everybody. Nice to see you. Please welcome David Olivas on the keys and saxophone today. David. Mr. Ken Moore on bass. We're always happy to have joining us on lead guitar, Mr. Ken DePron. Today, I am thrilled to have the Grenadians joining us, Mr. Wayne Moore. Hi, Wayne. Ms. Angela Carroll Brown. And Ms. Brenda Moore. And I just want to thank those guys because they put up with me, like, telling them, changing everything. So thank you guys, and I hope you come back. So, and
That makes
Erica,
2 of us.
Yeah. Please welcome Erica playing percussion down in front. All right. So you've heard about this fellow. He's awfully good. And I had Anyway, we're thrilled to back you up. We'll do it anytime. Playing, no one would ever suspect this is a Kenny Rogers tune back from the 60s from a group he was first in called the First Edition. So it's kind of a funky acid flashback tune to
This is
end.
the last edition of the first edition.
Yes, the very last edition we'll ever do. And this is ending our unofficial Rocktober. So that's so here we go. Please welcome Reverend Mike McMorrow. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, what condition my condition was in.
I woke up this morning with the sun down shining in. I found my mind in a brown paper bag within. I tripped on a cloud, fell 8 miles high. I tore my mind on a jagged sky. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, what condition my condition was in.
My soul to a deep dark hole, and then I followed it in. I watched myself crawling out as I was crawling in. I got so tired I couldn't unwind. I saw so much that I broke my mind. I just dropped in to see
What condition my condition was in. What condition my condition was in.
Someone painted April Fool in big black letters on a dead-end sign. I found my foot on the gas, I left the road, and I blew out my mind. 8 miles out of Memphis and I got no spare. 8 miles straight downtown town somewhere. I just dropped in to see
what condition my condition was in.
I said I just dropped in to see
what condition my condition was in. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, what condition my condition was in.
All right. So we do have some, do we already do the announcements? No. Oh. I'll just do them since I'm up here. All right, so this week I'm starting a gratitude meditation on lunchtime meditation, 12:30 to 1. So if you're around and you want to check in and see what condition your condition is in, you can join me for, it's a 30-minute guided meditation on Wednesday. And then as Reverend Jeannie spoke to, this Wednesday evening is the Samhain Festival of the Dead, which is the Celtic New Year. So please come and support yourself by supporting her by being here on Wednesday night. On Saturday, on a regular basis, we have the Course in Miracles. That starts at 9:30 a.m. Coming soon. So next week we have the Sangha, which is the spiritual cinema. That starts at 9:30 a.m. That will be film and discussion and food. Bring your own lunch. And visioning we do every on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays. So on November 8th, that's with me and Reverend Nancy and friends. And then on the nights when we're not having a program on Wednesday night, a guest speaker, we do have the Let's Get Real and Heal meditation service. So come join us for that. That's a nice check-in. And then Reverend Jeannie has a sign-up sheet, and you can speak to her today. She was having a day-long retreat at Casa de Maria up in Santa Barbara. So you can join her with that. There's details out there, or there's details right here with Reverend Jeannie. So give yourself a shot and take some time out for yourself. And then we have the Attitude of Gratitude Challenge. So if you are on Facebook, the center is on Facebook. So look for us. Every day we'll be posting a message of gratitude throughout the month of November. So check that out. And so if you need to, this is your first time here and you would like to receive our electronic newsletter, it goes out every week, keeps you posted on what's going on, and you'll even get a reminder about the Samhain service this Wednesday night. So it's also a nice little reminder. And the rest of the stuff, you can find it all in here, along with the Declaration of Principles that Reverend Jeannie is going to be taking us through right now. Thank you for your attention.
So if you'll please stand and join me. It's in your program, or it'll be on the board. If we can see it on the board. Would you hand me that? Okay. Thank you. You're all ready. Me too now. Declaration of Principles. We believe in our one universal spirit manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe our faith operates upon a law of mind which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the goodness of life to all.
Shine and I shine and I shine so bright, and I shine and I shine and I shine so bright. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light in this world. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. We are the light, we are the light, we are the light in this world. We are the light, we are the light, we are the light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine.
That's just water, folks. All right. Whew. So let's give the band a hand again, shall we? Yes. And those wonderful background singers. I appreciate you being here to make me sound better. Oh, yeah. Oh, go on. All right, so today, the love that lies, I've been doing this all week. The love that lies within. But it's the love that lives within. The love that lives within. And this is finishing up our monthly theme for October with this idea of love as safety. We create a community-wide climate conducive to honest reflection and deep and direct communication. And this has happened in a very organic way through our Life Mastery class on Tuesday nights, and also through our presentations of Joy Andrioli, who is a marriage family therapist and her background's in transactional analysis. And so she was giving us some tools on communicating effectively. And so I had an insight in doing the class, along with the mindfulness class that we're taking on Monday evenings. In that we often hear this idea that you got to love yourself, right? That's like a Stuart Smalley thing. Love yourself. And I've kind of felt like that was like a psych, or what do you call it, pop psychology kind of thing that gets overused. You got to love yourself, particularly if you're going through a breakup and all your friends say, you just got to love yourself, which is like the last thing you want to hear, right? And so I was thinking about this in terms of this idea of honest reflection and deep and direct communication. And when we really are honoring ourselves, which is what loving ourselves means, that we are honoring ourselves with from a place of equanimity with all and compassion with all, right? That we are standing in our truth and taking the risk to say what needs to be said and just letting things fall where they may. And there's not only a sense of being in alignment with yourself and the authenticity of yourself and the power of that, but also stepping into the faith that the person that you're sharing with isn't going to go anywhere. Right? So it's like the most intimate of exchanges in the earth realm, if you think about it. And it does take it's a tremendous act of self-will to speak your truth honestly and effectively. And I'm saying speaking it, not yelling it in a blind rage. Right? Because I know that sometimes is. For those of us who up until now may not have that sense of self-acknowledgement, that we have to wait till we get angry to speak up. And this is not a helpful place to be. And it really is not, it may be authentic, but it's not helpful. So St. Paul, the teacher St. Paul, remember, he used to say, be angry and not sin. Be angry and not sin. Be authentic and not sin. So we are in this time of year where we are honoring those who have gone before, because we're recognizing that when we are choosing to live life in a deeper and more conscious way, we are recognizing that there is something about us that is eternal, that we are more than this earthly body, that we in fact do shuffle off this earthly coil, and there is an eternality to life and who we are. It's the greater truth of who we are. And these ancient practices, whether So this is something that comes to us through the indigenous populations of Mexico, the ofrenda. It's all the way back to the Aztecs, right? And then it's been Catholicized, I suppose, and also through the Celtic tradition, and then kind of Americanized and maybe even commercialized, yeah. And but both are recognizing that there's something bigger going on here. Something bigger going on. And so my friend Dwayne is here, and Mark Gravel, Margot's husband, is here, with the godfather of soul, I might add, James Brown himself, also being honored. And my grandmother, Catherine Doyle Dever, is here, and Chloe's grandpa, and Angela's dad is here. He passed this year. So you still have time if you want to put a memento up on the ofrenda for Wednesday night. So please make sure you do that. So shifting gears a little bit, well, not a little bit, a lot of bit. Well, here's Dia de los Muertos, and then we'll work with this image for a little bit. Because I wanted to speak to music as a way of connecting with the divine. Because I have sometimes heard it said that popular music is not church music. And I understand that perspective because, after all, much of popular music deals with love or heartache or take this job and shove it because I'm not working here anymore. And actually, no more anymore is proper English. And at times, songs like these may not feel spiritual, but Slipknot or Metallica notwithstanding, and maybe Led Zeppelin on occasion, I would like to make a case that while all music may not be worship music, still music speaks to the human condition and the challenges and the struggles of daily living so nicely that it can in fact point to the divine. In fact, all of life can and does point to the divine once we understand that it does. In fact, once we understand that it does, we can't see it any other way. And music does this at a level that touches us in a deep way. So have you ever participated in a guided meditation? Yes, guided meditations. Have you ever participated in a guided meditation where you go back through time, through the years? The years melt away until you get in touch with, say, your childhood. Like if you've ever done an inner child meditation. It takes like 15, 20 minutes to get there, right? And yet you can be driving in your car and the right song can come on and you are taken back instantaneously 20, 30, 40 years ago. So the right song can shift the whole deal. So like, I'll never dance with another, whoa, as I saw her. Now check where you're at right now. Right? Takes you back there instantly, yeah? Or maybe Moonlight Cocktail. This was for John Sparks. Moonlight Cocktail or Rum and Coke by the Andrews Sisters. Yeah, so when they were talking smack about us in the 60s, they were talking about Rum and Coke in 1944. That was a #1 song about Trinidad. Yes, I listened to it. Or I'll be seeing you always. Yeah, so, and there you are. Instantly, you're back to your youth again. And of course, we cannot stay there. We cannot stay there. So although it has been said that people can live, right, so the average lifetime, 75 or 80 years, it is up to us to make sure that we're not reliving that 1 year over and over again, for 50 years, 10 years. 1 year's too much. That's called resentment. Yes? Yes. And you know what? We don't do that here. We don't do that here. In fact, the whole point of this teaching, the science of mind teaching, religious science, is to make sure that every day is a new day and that we unshackle ourselves from the past of the old thinking that has kept us bound in a current paradigm that we do not want, and encourage us to step into courageously at the most authentic level that we can into the life that we're currently, that really is longing for us to come forth. Because we understand that our life is a vehicle for the divine to express itself by means of each of our individual lives. This is a huge idea. It's not a new idea, but it's liberating. I mean, you are saved. This is salvation. When you can just allow the shackles that have kept us held bound up until now to just simply fall away, recognizing them as the thought forms that have kept us held bound. And so in this way, we truly are on a regular basis checking in to see what condition our condition is in. Yes? So in the song this morning, the writer is connecting with his level of intoxication, obviously, and the cruelties of life associated with it. Right? So, I mean, listen to any alcoholic at the end of their story, and life is just giving them a bum turn. And if you had my life, you'd drink too. And while we may be, so it's woke up this morning, sundown shining in, found my mind in a brown paper bag within. I tripped on a cloud, fell 8 miles high, tore my mind on a jagged sky. In fact, there was a song, 8 Miles High. Yeah, so it's referring to that, I'm sure, because they're both birthed from that same time. And so while it's true that we may be amused or repulsed by the story, isn't it true that all of us must take time to just check in and see what condition our condition is in? So whether we are intoxicated by love, by rage, by frustration, or the verities of life, the fact is that there are greater truths just below the surface awaiting our attention, and within that attention, the opportunity to choose differently. And in choosing differently, the opportunity to set ourselves, every day, to set ourselves upon a new path of our own choosing, consciously and mindfully. Now, it is now, let's see, this is October 2017. 17 years ago, I made my way through the front door here at this center. I did not know that one simple thing and that one simple commitment to keep coming back and back and back was going to have such a dramatic change on my life. The first time I stepped into, years before that, I had to go to a meeting to help me understand why I was so thirsty, and that there was a way that I could take care of that. Completely changed the trajectory of my life. And on that first day, I would not know, I mean, there's no way I would have thought. If you'd have told me, oh, hey, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, and in 17 years, you're going to be the minister here. I'd have been, out the door I'd have gone. So bringing our attention back to this song again, it's obvious that he's having some kind of a hallucination brought on by some kind of substance outside of himself, which was not, I've been told, was not uncommon back in the day. And he's trying to find his way back to center, while at the same time trying to cope with the seeming calamity at the same time. And so how does he do this? Again, he's just dropping in. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. And then happily, the song is written in past tense. I just dropped in. So maybe he wrote it in rehab, right? So we don't know. So the truth is that most people are living under an illusion of perceived truth rather than by truth itself. And that our senses in this surface world play tricks on us at the surface level. And the truth about our conditions of life can be easily pulled this way and that when we are not living consciously or mindfully, even by, and maybe even especially by, the seemingly good things. Doesn't have to be bad stuff. That we are pulled this way and that by the next shiny object. So I see this demonstrating itself as people, they come here, they get a grasp on their life. They take control of their life. They live in a powerful place of choice, and then they demonstrate the right job, the right man, the right whatever, the new car, the new house, and then boop, off they go to something else, to the next guru, right? To the next teaching. So, I guess whether the distraction then, whether it's the next distraction or the next savior, only time will tell. And both are distractions that point the way to a deeper experience of life. So this idea of the Buddhist teaching, right, of the Buddha saying so many years ago that I am a finger pointing to the moon. Don't look at me, look to the moon. The greater truth. So, that's when you know a teacher is really a kind of worth his salt, right? Go to the greater truth. So I really like the way I framed this. I just wanted to share it because I knew that the ofrenda would be down, and that's actually my finger. So if you want, you can either worship the finger or you can worship, if you need to. You can. What was that? Why doesn't my thingy work? It's red. All right, so we'll wait for the other teacher. All right, so another way of saying this is that the words I speak, I do not speak of myself, but my Father who abides. My Father who abides within me, who does the work. And then he went on to say, and he will give you another comforter and be with you forever. So another way of saying that, in a different Bible translation, this is the Gospel of St. John, would be the Holy Spirit, right? The comforter. That he goes on to say, this is chapter 10, verse 17, even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it has not seen him and does not know him. But you know him because he abides with you and is in you. So the dude abides is an old idea, 2,000 years old. This is not a new idea. And I guess you haven't seen The Big Lebowski, or you would know how funny that statement is. So, but my point is this, that so many of us have been distracted maybe by the salvation model of maybe our religion of origins, that we didn't, at least I know for myself, that I didn't get to hear this because I was so busy covering my cosmic backside to make sure I didn't warm up, end up in the hot place. Right? So, or you can live like this, yes, the dude abides with his begging bowl. All right, so false equivalents, false gods, yes, false gods, not bad or good or even false, and yet even the highest aspirations that we may have for ourselves may be a delusion. So what do we give our attention to, right? In the old days, maybe it was a bottle, a cigarette, a man, prestige, the Bible, anger, self-condemnation. Is there an ain't an awful narrative going on? Is there a spiritual bypass about how everything's beautiful and I'm being guarded by the angels, right, as my life is falling apart all around me? Or is there a level of complacency that I don't want to deal with? In other words, we need to check in and see what condition our condition is in. Because ultimately, man will deliver, this is Ernest Holmes, our teacher, that man will deliver himself from sickness and trouble in the exact proportion to his discovery of himself and his true relationship with the whole. So whole, when you see a word with a capital letter, it's speaking to an aspect of the divine. He could have said the divine, could have said Christ consciousness, he could have said whatever you know spirit to be. So the way out of the dilemma then is to connect with the deepest aspects of ourselves and do it in a courageous fashion. Now, how do we know? How do we know if it's true or just another delusion? Well, the first thing, check in with yourself. How do I feel? Am I afraid? Or am I relatively serene? Does it have love in it, this thought that I'm considering? Does it have love in it? Does it have compassion and equanimity? And from this place, when I'm considering this idea, how authentic do I dare be in my life? What to mask? So one of these things about self-love, right? So when we really understand and know who we truly are, and we're okay with it, warts and all, recognizing that we are a vehicle for the divine to do its thing by means of our life, right? What mask are we then projecting out into the world, right? So in the Greek tradition and in Greek theater, there were not elaborate sets and costumes. There were only masks. And in fact, the word personality, based from persona, which is the Greek for mask. Dia de los Muertos, we wear masks. Right? What is the mask that we are projecting out there in the world? It's our deepest, most subjectified beliefs. So, can we bring, when we consider this and consider how our life is demonstrating, can we bring more love to it? Can we bring more compassion and equanimity? Always, yeah? Yes? Yeah. So, when there is love within, it has no choice but to express outwardly. When there is joy within, it's obvious. People can see it. When there's irritation or aggravation within, people can see that too. Now, some folks are skilled and they can combine both some kind of way. So, Eckhart Tolle playing around with this idea a little bit more. So we want to stand, we want to understand and know that we are one with the divine, that our life is an expression of the divine, and that we make a conscious choice to step into that and allow the Spirit to express itself by means of our life and what we say, what we think, and what we do, and the way that we interact with life, the way we interact with our fellows, the way we interact with the freeway and in the office and in our relationships. Right? To offer no resistance to life. Right? So we're not so Jesus said, resist not. Eckhart Tolle picks up on that when he says, to offer no resistance to life is to be in a state of grace, of ease, lightness, that this state then is no longer dependent upon things in a certain way, good or bad. So what does this mean? That we can stand in our truth and stand our ground, regardless of whatever is happening. Not in a way that we are resisting, right? But more like, when the ocean, when the tide comes in, we're just standing where we are. We're not fighting it. We're just doing what? We're working to keep our balance, right? Does this mean that no resistance? Does this mean that we then become cosmic doormats? No. Boundaries are a spiritual practice. When we practice self-love, we have boundaries, healthy ones. And we don't wait until we're pushed to a breaking point before we go, I wish you would stop doing that. But rather take the risk to just say it. The risk to be, I'm going to be a nag, but just to say it. Compassion, equanimity, love. Because when we understand and know that the infinite is within, that this there is from this place of peace, because there's nothing that can disturb it. Nothing. A realization of our oneness with the omnipresence of the Spirit brings peace. And this is really where we want to hang out, yeah? Because when we're in that place, regardless of what's going on, regardless of our bank balance, whether we've just quarreled with someone who we really care about, whether our children are okay, even then, right? Because when our kids are off kilter, that's a tweaker sometimes. That even in that that we can know that we and they live in the infinite omnipresence of the Spirit. And so then from this place then we do not back down from the verities of life, but rather embrace Him and lean into Him, knowing that this is where the greater expression of the divine is longing, right? Knock and I shall enter, is longing to express itself. So really these challenges are way showers. So let's invite the band up, and we're going to take a deep breath and think about today being the Sabbath day, this holy day, where we consciously step into an idea of knowing that we are something greater than we think we are. That there is that within us that has never been violated in any way. That it is the divine itself. And that recognizing and knowing this truth, we can step into knowing that as we stand our ground and live from that authentic place of love, of compassion and equanimity for all beings, that we are in fact living our best life now. And so practice that this week, and come back next week, which by the way is No Excuses Sunday, because you have an extra hour. This would be a good day to do that, because then they also have no excuses. So come back next week, check in, let me know how you're doing.
One, two, three.
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. You can stand me up at the gates of hell. Well, I won't back down. I will stand my ground. Won't be turned around. And I keep this world from dragging me down. Gonna stand my ground. And I won't back down. I won't back down. Hey, baby. There ain't no easy way out. I won't back down. Hey, I will stand my ground. And I won't back down. Well, I know what's right. I got just one life in a world that keeps on pushing me around. But I stand my ground, and I won't back down. I won't back down. Hey, baby. There ain't no easy way out. I won't back down. Hey, I will stand my ground, and I won't back down.
job, man.
So did you really like that? Yeah. All right, well, the offering's next. Yeah. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you, band. Thank you, Grenadians. Yeah, let's give them some more love. Thank you. Yeah. I felt like I'm spinning a bunch of plates, but it's always fun to be up here. Okay. So as we call our ushers forward, as we prepare our gifts for the offering, so as we go within, take a breath. All right. So as we go within for just a moment longer, recognizing and knowing that these gifts presented here this morning are a demonstration of consciousness that knows and knows that it knows that God is our source, our substance, our supply. So from the generous heart of the individual, we accept these gifts with deep appreciation, love, and respect, as we know together they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless the lives and the mission and the intention of each life here this morning, and anyone connected to this Center for Spiritual Living in any way. That we know this truth for our friends in our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, for our planet as well, and for the Los Angeles Dodgers, that we know that all of it is an expression of the divine, that we step up to the plate and know that our challenges that are being faced to us are growing into a proportion we easily hit them out of the park, and that they are no longer a concern. That we step into our best life right now and invite others to be shifted and lifted in this enterprise. And so we just release all of it now, knowing that it is good and very good. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. So please help me thank Sandy Kelly and Miss Chloe. And see if we got some kids here, because I know they've been, yeah, come on in, guys. Because I know they've been busy out there. I'll use the lectern mic. Yeah, here we go. All right. You were busy, huh? How'd they turn out? Ooh, here they are. Nice. Okay. Oop, you want to get those for her? Great. Thank you, Rosa. Are you afraid you're going to drop them? Can I take that for you? Are you going to speak?
She's eating frosting.
So you made skulls.
Yeah.
Let me take that. Okay, no, all right.
The icing was delicious.
Yeah, not the skulls. The icing was delicious.
And I made a football player.
Was it a Seahawk?
I have no idea.
Let's just say it was.
Okay.
All right, good? All right, so these are sugar skulls, which are part of the Dia de los Muertos tradition, and we'll find a place for those up here, yes? All right, thank you, Rosa. All right, so you want to take a seat so you don't, yeah, so you don't have to bother with them. All right, that's it for kids. All right, let's thank the band one more time. Oh, here we go. Paula. You want to check in, or are you good? All right. Did you do a mask? All right. So, Miss Nancy, you want to check in with us real quick? And tell us? No? Okay. They had fun. Oh, nice. Woo, that's nice. Look at that. Look at that, Mom. So can you get a close-up on that so we can share that with the live streamers? All right. So you can point your relatives to the YouTube channel. They can check out your artwork. All right. Even if, no matter how far away they are, if they have internet access. Okay. So let's thank the band one more time. Thank our background singers one more time. Thank you. It was fun, and I'll see you next year. All right. So, Reverend Jeannie, pray us out.
If the practitioners would stand around the room, please. And these are the people, if you would like a 1-minute miracle treatment, to grab after church to do that for you. So as we come to the close of this wonderful time we've shared together this morning, knowing that we have received a message, beautiful music, and joy and love beyond our measure today, I know and express for everyone here present that we have what we need right now. We share what we have right now. And knowing that love permeates everything, goes forth to bless not only this center, each of us, but every person with whom we come in contact today. It is all good because it is all God. And with grateful hearts, we say from the bottom of our hearts, and so it is.
Please stand for the peace song.